Ravani says we have 5 enemies. Who are they? So I think we're talking about the Panch Vikar here: Kam, Lust, Krodh, anger, loath, greed, Moh, attachment, and Ahankar, which is ego. And all of these 5 fit into something called Home, I amness. So Home encompasses all 5 of these, and it creates the illusion of us being separate. So according to Sikhi, the same Vaheguru that lives within me, lives within all of you, lives all around us. And this Home, this sense of I amness, clouds our recognition within ourselves and others. So Sikhi is the most universal of faiths, I believe, because we recognize Vaheguru in ourselves, in everyone and everything around us. Now all 5 of these manifest themselves at different ways and different times. I could probably do the entire talk on all 5 of them, but briefly, actually before I talk about each one, I don't think they're necessarily enemies. They're kind of like how you have fire in your house. If you let the fire grow too much, it'll burn your house down. But if you don't have any fire at all, your house can't function. You won't be able to cook your food or be heated. So all 5 of these things connect us to the world around us. They're part of our physical being. They allow us to live in the physical world. And there'll never ever be a state where you've destroyed and gotten rid of them completely. The best you can do is control them. So you never eliminate them, you just control them. And then make them work for you. I think for people of this general age group, it's just finding a connection with someone else. It's lust, but sometimes it masks itself as something else. So I really love this person, but what does, I fell in love at first sight. What does that really mean? How can you fall in love at first sight? What are you loving, right? Krodh and Kam go together, they're a package. In Barney you'll find the two coming together as well. Krodh means anger. In of itself it's a passion, right? But if you go deeper, you can find it in different forms. For example, I am an impatient person. Like I've changed over time. I used to be more patient, but I find myself to be less patient. And that I think is almost a form of growth as well, right? Being frustrated at things because you're not getting your way, which is part of not accepting Vaheguru's Parna, because if you accept everything as the way God is giving it, then you won't be krodhi, you won't be upset because everything's happening as it should. So Kam, Krodh, Lobh, it's less so when you're younger because you don't have anything. You can't covet things that you don't have. But as you grow older, you'll start seeing that even amongst youngsters, you don't really need a new iPod, you don't really need a new phone, but you'll go and buy one just because there's a new one out. Different types of clothing. So amassing just enough to sustain yourself and having a family is important. Like I wouldn't necessarily be living my life the way I am if I didn't have to worry about my family. So that's kind of lobh, but having a distinction between what you need and what you want is important. So lobh is unbridled greed. Moh is attachment. This is something that doesn't really happen so much at younger ages. It's as you grow older, especially in the elderly. You'll see really elderly people not worried about themselves so much, but mere putt da ki banuga, mere potyan da ki banuga. And the real answer to that is Vaheguru is going to sustain them, so why are you worried? So attachment, worrying about your family, whereas you really should be worried about the entire world family. I've had some people say that, how am I supposed to get rid of Moh? Should I, break off my relations with my family? Should I not care about my family? And the answer is no. That's actually a ridiculous thing to do. And some Sikhs that are progressing on the spiritual path might be tempted to do that, and some have tried to do that, but that's actually the wrong way of doing it. So Moh is actually a restricted love, whereas the solution to a restricted love is to have unrestricted love. So not worried about your immediate blood family, but worried about the world family. So it's not a question of restricting your affections and care, it's about growing it. And finally, ahankar, ego, which is really a hard one to get at because it's the source of your identity. And as children, we teach our children about their identity, to talk about themselves and be proud of their accomplishments. But then at some point it gets out of control and it all becomes, about me. I need to be noticed. Like gurdwaras. Why do we have problems at gurdwaras? It's because people want to be noticed. I want to be the president, not because you want to do seva, it's because you want to be the guy in charge, right? So those are the 5, and how to get rid of them. The only solution is nam. So some people think meditation, or you can think these away, but the fact is your mind is diseased by these things. So if you meditate, and what are you meditating on? Yourself. So meditating on yourself, you'll get a result like the yogis that Guru Nanak encountered, which is you become egotistical. You might get something out of it, but you just enhance some of those vikas. So Sikhi's solution to getting rid of these is meditation on Nam, which is Nam and Gurbani, which brings in those qualities of Vaheguru into you and sort of gets rid of those bad tendencies.
So the second